Back. Assalamu alaikum. All right, we are live. So we are live here on Facebook. We are live on Instagram. We are simulcasting today. So, assalamu alaikum. If you are just joining me, then welcome. This is one of our Fit Muslima lives, where we talk about food, faith, and fitness. And if you believe that physical, mental, and spiritual well-being is intertwined, and the weakness of one weakens them all, and the strengthening of one strengthens them all, then you have found your tribe. Welcome. So, last week, I actually asked for what was some of the topics that people wanted to hear us talk about, and one of them was postpartum fitness and how to get back to a schedule after you have had a baby. And so today we have my daughter Ayana,
Hey, y'all.
who just had a baby. She's 15 months now?
Almost 15 months, like 14 and a half.
14 and a half, right? And she's going to share some of her thoughts. I am going to share some of my thoughts. I've had 4 babies, but they're all 20 plus years old. So we'll give you a couple of different perspectives based on how old your child is. All right. So first, tell people a little bit about what was your fitness like before you had the baby.
Oh, okay. So I was basically a gym rat. Like, stay in the gym. You know, we go to the gym every day. Every morning we wake up, we go to the gym. Mm-hmm. And then, or we would go for like a hike or something. So I was always very active before I had Amina. So yeah, I was working out like 5-6 days a week.
Did you have a particular goal? What was your goal?
My goal, so I had like strength goals. Like, I knew I wanted to lift, like if I could only lift 135 in a squat, I wanted to go for 145. Like, I just wanted to just keep getting stronger. So it wasn't necessarily like an aesthetic thing. It's just like I wanted to see how strong I could get. Okay. And yeah.
Okay. So just clarify, Ayana's goal was not weight loss.
No, I don't like to lose nothing.
Ayana is naturally fit.
Yeah.
So I know that when I've had all of my babies, I always tried to lose weight afterwards because I always gained. I gained a lot of weight. So this is 2 different perspectives. What happens if you gain weight after a baby? What happened if you don't have to gain weight? Did you gain any weight after?
Well, when I gained 35 pounds when I was pregnant. So during my pregnancy, I gained 35 pounds. Okay. Literally 2 weeks after I gave birth, I was back to my original weight.
Oh, wow.
I actually lost weight, and I'm trying to like gain 10 pounds so I can go back to that weight before.
Lucky her. Every baby, I had to lose at least 25, 30 pounds, at least. So what a lot of people don't know about me is that when I had my first son, that is when I had to lose the most weight. Mm-hmm. My pelvic bone collapsed when I was 6 months pregnant. I spent the last trimester in a wheelchair. When I got pregnant, I was 115 pounds. When I gave birth, I was 198 pounds. Mm-hmm. That is actually what got me into fitness. That was a lot. I gained like 50 pounds in 3 months because I went from being completely active to literally sitting in a wheelchair. Right. So after you have a baby, before, did you work out throughout your pregnancy?
I worked out basically the same schedule I had before I had her. So I was in the gym 5-6 days a week. I was still hiking. I was still very active through my pregnancy. Not so much in the first trimester because, like, you know, that's like a tricky time. But once I got to my second trimester, I was working out just the same. I worked out basically up until like the day before I had her. So
what did you modify? Did you modify stuff?
I modified a lot of stuff. So like I modified my weights. I went low weight. I did more reps. I didn't do like anything that had to like put any strain on the core. So like no push-ups or anything like that. I would just like I did basically almost the same thing I did before, but just like modify the weights, or if I needed to do something that like incorporated abs, I would like do it on my knees or something like that. Something so I didn't have to like put too much stress on my core, but pretty much the same stuff. Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest. When I've had my babies, Yeah, exercising wasn't a priority.
I loved exercising when I was pregnant. It was so fun.
It was a long time ago before,
I didn't have like all of those aches and pains people talk about, like when you're pregnant and the pelvis and all that kind of stuff. I didn't have any of that because I worked out. So I'm pro working out while you're pregnant.
So pro working out while you're pregnant.
Yeah.
But important things that I want to point out is that you can work out while you're pregnant, but you do have to modify things. Yes. You're not trying to lift the heaviest weights that you could possibly lift. You're not trying to hit PRs.
Yeah, I took it very easy.
Right? You're not trying to hit PRs while you're pregnant. It's about really staying physically active, and just making sure that you're trying to maintain a level of fitness,
right?
Not necessarily.
I didn't have any goals when I was pregnant. I just was like, I'm just gonna move my body. Some days I wouldn't even work out. I would just go for like a long walk or something. So it didn't even have to be a whole workout going to the gym, but I just wanted to move my body and keep it moving. So that was it there.
So then after you have the baby, let me just say this too. The research shows that women who work out, who are physically active during pregnancy, they actually are able to, quote unquote, have, I don't want to say an easier labor, less complications during a labor, because labor is never easy.
Never easy. No,
never easy. I don't care how you have it, whether you have a natural, whether you have a C-section, whatever, it's never easy. Right. So they actually have less complications during labor. After baby. So this is really about, so what we originally supposed to talk about is kind of like getting back to a routine after you have a baby. Generally, when you have a baby, particularly if it's your first baby, you don't anticipate how much it is going to change your schedule. What was the biggest surprise for you, or
the sleep deprivation?
The sleep deprivation.
Actually, I didn't start being like sleep deprived until I tried to like make her sleep in her crib by herself. Cause like you see in movies, you put the baby down, they fall asleep, and then you go sleep, and then you're okay. No, it's not like that. So like I was trying to like make her sleep by herself, and that was driving me nuts. But that's a whole different topic. But yeah, definitely how like hands-on it is with a baby. You think like they're so little, they don't really like somebody so tiny takes up so much of your energy and your day and your mental space and everything. So I guess I didn't anticipate that. But I would say I'm one of those people that I guess motherhood kind of came a little bit more naturally to me. So I kind of adjusted pretty quickly to that. But that's probably the biggest.
How would you say that, like, what was the conscious adjustments that you made after?
After having her?
Yeah.
Like with my time?
Yeah.
Oh, realizing very quickly that I can't do everything, and that it's okay to be like, hey, can you watch the baby while I like take a nap? Like sometimes I would literally come and drop her over at grandma, grandpa's house, and I would go upstairs and take a nap on their floor, like, because I just needed a nap. I needed to go to sleep, and I had to learn very quickly that you can just ask for help.
Ask for help.
Ask for help.
Yes. Yes. I think also too, that is one of the things that just as women, right, we don't ask for help as much as we need to. And sometimes what we do is we then hold grudges or start feeling some kind of way because people are not offering. But closed mouths don't get fed.
I had to learn that very quickly.
People don't automatically know. You shouldn't expect people to always offer, because especially if you're the type of woman like, oh, I'm doing great, everything is wonderful. Okay. If you say everything's great, people is going to think everything is great, and you don't need no help. So closed mouths don't give it. Right? When you so how long did it take you after you had the baby before you started getting into a routine?
So I made the mistake of trying to do it too early, because I was like, oh, I feel good, I can do this. And my body was like, no, you can't. So I tried to like work out again at 6 weeks, and then my body was like, heck no. So I just was like, all right, I'm going to rest until I start feeling like I can do something. And also I was like trying to fit it in. It's really hard to fit it in with a newborn because they're so hands-on. You're breastfeeding every 2 hours. You got to hold them. You're doing like they're spitting up, they're pooping. You're doing so much all day that your entire day is taken up by them. So I was trying to do too much in the beginning.
What was the signs that your body gave you that says, no, don't do this. It's too early.
Bleeding. Like I would try to I would walk and I'd be like, okay, I could run a little bit. I would try to run and then I would start bleeding again. Like, even though my bleeding had stopped, I was like, okay. And I asked my midwife, she was like, you need to sit down. Like, your body's telling you to rest. So that was that was the biggest sign. And then also I was just really tired. And I was just like, I don't know. I guess I expected I was going to be able to like bounce back quicker.
Okay.
But yeah, I didn't have a routine set in place until she was about 6 months because I didn't feel like I wasn't really ready to work out again and like really ready to like be back in the gym. Well, not in the gym, but like have a consistent schedule until then. Because then she was like sleeping better. I was sleeping better. I was getting like sleep, and we had more of a routine just with her daily routine. So that also helped. But yeah, I just was like, all right, I'm gonna take my time. I don't want to be like messing myself up. So yeah.
I think that a lot of women put a lot of pressure on themselves of like, I gotta bounce back. Because I know that I'm following several fitness influencers and they're like 6 weeks postpartum, and they talk about being gentle with the exercise, but they're like 6 weeks in 1 day I'm doing push-ups, 6 weeks in 2 days I'm running 5 miles. And I was just, and I sometimes I sit and I think to myself, I was like, wow, this is gonna make people think that like, if you're not back exercising at 6 weeks in 1 day, then there's something wrong with you.
And I definitely felt, I was like, I was active before. I should be able to like recover quick and do this kind of stuff. And I was just like, no, I think we've minimized birth, like not minimize it, but like we've like become desensitized to birth, and we don't realize like how much of an like ordeal it is on your body. Like after I gave birth, you were there, when my midwife was like, oh, it's like running a marathon, and I'm like, no, I literally feel like I just ran a marathon. So like it's like a huge thing. And then especially if you have a C-section, that's major abdominal surgery. Like, so we have to take our time. And 6 weeks, the doctors always say 6 weeks, but it's way more than 6 weeks. I think for most women. Some women recover quickly, but for most women it takes longer than 6 weeks to like fully recover from having a baby.
I think also too, when we think of 6 weeks, we think of in terms of postpartum bleeding, like, once your bleeding stopped, then your body is healed. Your body is not healed. No. Just because your bleeding has stopped. You really do have to pay attention to the signs of your body. And sometimes fatigue is one of those signs, right? So if you normally like, before I had the baby, I could run 3 miles, but I do 1 mile and I'm absolutely exhausted. That's your body saying like, I have not healed all of the other things. And I think you're right. I think minimizing is actually a good term to use, is that we have minimized the impact of literally growing a human being. Like you would think that we would be like, hey, I just grew a human being inside of my womb. Maybe that took a lot of effort, but we've literally minimized it to like popping a baby out and going back.
Like, I'm like, we're not machines. Like,
particularly here in America, because I think that that's even part of, it's not even just about fitness. It's that women are expected to return back to work. Women are expected to just go back doing everything normal just within 6 weeks. Like, we don't even get a 6 week postpartum in the standard corporate America. You're really put in a position of, hey, you have to pop back and then you have to go back to doing everything that you're supposed to do, when literally every organ in your body has just shifted.
And now has to come back to its original place. And then everything is not working the same way that it was before. So like, maybe you have like low pelvic floor now and stuff. You got to heal that. You have diastasis recti, and like you have to, it's all these things that come with like having a baby that people don't really know, that people have and they don't even know that they have. And they're just trying to jump back into things. And I'm like, I was like, nah, I'm gonna take my time, bro. I'm not even about to stress myself out.
I don't think that it was until I had like maybe my third baby that I saw this diagram of how your organs literally shift to make room for your baby. Like literally your bladder, your spleen, your lungs, even your heart is all shifting and moving inside of your body in order for you to make room for an entire human being.
Yeah.
And if we think about that, like if we think about any other type of major surgery, for example, if somebody says, hey, I just had lung surgery and they moved my lung out of the way, we'd be like, oh, yes,
take your time.
3 months, 6 months, a year, your lungs were just, you know, shifted over, or your spleen or your bladder, but like it's happening and we don't even pay attention to, hey, literally every organ in my abdominal cavity just shifted. And not even like a little shift.
No, like your bladder be up here. This is over here.
Not even a little shift. It's like literally like moving a whole foot over.
Everything, and then your intestines are squished back here. Like, it's crazy. So I'm like, man, you cannot expect us to be ready to just go back to everything at 6 weeks. That's ridiculous.
Yep. And it somebody on Instagram said, and it's a mindset shift too.
Yeah, exactly.
For sure. For you to just understand that it's okay to rest. Yeah. So we have two things. We minimize the physical impact that birth has on a woman's body. And number two, the mental impact of that idea that we already don't rest before we have a baby.
Right.
And then that rest is somehow meaning that you're lazy.
Right.
Right. So just like, oh, I can't believe you took 2 naps today.
Sleep when a baby sleeps.
Right? Sleep when a baby sleeps.
If you can.
And so once you got past that point where, okay, now it's time for me to get into a schedule. How do you get, because I can imagine going 6 months without having a consistent exercise schedule. How do you make yourself say, today is the day I'm going to get up and move
and do something? So because honestly, I genuinely like to work out. Like I genuinely like to exercise. But for somebody who does, because I used to be that person that didn't like to exercise, but I think having a goal is really important because it makes you be like, okay, I know I want to do this. The only way I'm going to be able to get to X is I have to do this, this, and this, and this. So I say having a goal. So if you want to lose weight, or you want to lose 20 pounds, 30 pounds, whatever, say, okay, I want to lose 20 pounds. You're not going to do that sitting on the couch. You have to get up. You have to move. You know that you have to. So I think first of all, setting a goal is like the first thing. So I set a goal. I knew I wanted to, 1, gain a couple pounds back, you know what I'm saying? And then 2, I wanted to regain my strength, or like some strength, like some level of fitness. And so I just was like, okay, I know that I have to work out in order to attain these goals. So I was just like, I just have to like get up and do it. And my husband pushed me because he's a gym freak too. So, and then also I have access to obviously a space where I can come and work out and bring my baby, which helped. And I know a lot of people don't have that. So I suggest like YouTube challenges and stuff. Actually, my first, when I first started working out again after I had her, I did a YouTube like 28-day challenge or something on Chloe Ting's website. And she has all these free workouts and stuff, and she programs everything. You didn't need any equipment. All I needed was a yoga mat and like a resistance band. Okay. And I used to do the workout in my house with my baby, like crawling around. So stuff like that is really good, especially when you feel like you don't have time or something, but that's something that you could do while your kids are around. Or you could do it during nap time. The videos are like 15 minutes. So I started off really small, just having a goal of like, okay, I just want to see where I can take my body from here. And then just started doing like little increments. I would do like 10, 15 minutes a day, and then that'll be it.
And I think that's an important point, is that sometimes we put unnecessary obstacles in front of ourselves. And again, going back to that mindset shift, is that after you have a baby, your life obviously is going to be very different. And so it's really about adjusting your expectations. Before you have a kid, if you were a type of person where, or before you had your last baby or whatever, if you were the type of person like, my gym time is my me time, and oh, I can't work out if I don't have anybody to watch the baby, you may have to shift that idea of, you know what, right now, I can't put that extra obstacle. My husband isn't home, or this person can't watch the kid for me, right? You have to do something. So if it's something simple like following a YouTube video or a YouTube series, then that's certainly something that is going to make it much easier for you, right? Because it's right there in your house. And that's also a convenience we have of the internet.
Right. The internet, there's so much stuff on the internet, and it doesn't even have to be like going to the gym. Like, you could find something that you really like to do. Like, when people ask me like, how do you stay consistent, you have to find a type of exercise that you actually like to do. So it could be hiking, maybe you like to dance, maybe you like yoga, maybe you like Pilates, maybe you swim, like whatever it is that you like to do and that you enjoy, make it, you know what I mean, make that part of your routine, and do that so that it's something that you actually want to do. Because the gym is not the be all and end all of working out. So like at first I was trying to go back to the gym, and I was trying to like schedule stuff with my husband. He was in the police academy. So it was like crazy because he didn't have any time to watch the baby, so that I could go to the gym. And then my in-laws, they have their own lives. I'm not trying to ask them every day to watch my kid. Like, so I had to be like, okay, how can I shift from this mindset of thinking like I have to be in the gym, and take it to a place where I could actually have like exercise be accessible to me. So that's when I turned to YouTube, and I started doing like no equipment workouts. And then as I started getting a bit stronger and getting more of a routine, I would come into my mother-in-law's studio and work out here with using the weights and stuff like that. Again, starting small and building back up. So
I'm her mother-in-law.
Yes, this is my mother-in-law.
If y'all haven't figured that out yet.
She looks young. I know we look like sisters, you know? But yeah, this is my mama. So she has a studio. Alhamdulillah, I have access to it. So I was able to come. And then now my daughter's a year old, so I can like leave her for longer periods of time. But you know, COVID, so I ain't in the gyms like that. But I do get to come and like work out. But I started off in my living room for like a couple months before I decided to go somewhere else to work out. So it doesn't have to be like, there's no one way to work out. Find something you like to do. We would go on hikes. We still go on hikes, and I would put my baby in a baby carrier, and we would go on a hike. Like, you know what I mean? Go outside, go for a walk. It could be anything that you really like.
And you take Amina on walks like every day.
Every day, multiple times a day.
How old was she when you started doing that? Because that's also a part of you just getting back into it, right? Also, it's good for the baby to be outside, especially now in COVID, right? You don't want to sit in the house all day. So how old was she when you started doing that?
So for the first 3 months of her life, I literally she was inside like for the first 3 months of her life. I feel bad looking back because I'm like, babies. Right, because I'm like, she could have went outside. We could have went more walks. We would go on walks sometime, but like most of the time we were in the house. And so when she turned like 4 months, we both were just like so cooped up. And then I was like, you know, first time mom, you're Googling everything. And so I would like research like how to make your baby sleep better. And the biggest thing was like, take them outside. The sun, you know, helps ramp up that production of like melatonin. It helps us sleep and all that kind of stuff. So I would take her on walks. I would go, literally everybody in the neighborhood knows us. And they've seen Amina literally grow up because we go outside every single day. I take like 3 walks a day because I just wanted her to be out in the sun and get fresh air. And so I started doing that at 4 months. And I think those walks also really help. We have a lot of hills in the neighborhood. So I would like walk up the hills on purpose. Like that would be also a part of my workout, which is easy workout for you to do. You could put the baby in a stroller or in the baby carrier and just go. And then they take a good nap. Yeah.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Just a quick little recap. When we talk about getting back after you have a baby, number one, you have to honor the huge physical and mental transition that having a baby that has on your body. Don't feel obligated to get back into a routine at 6 weeks in one day, right? 3, listen to your body. And if you try to work out and it's just overexhausting you, you start bleeding again, you start aching in ways that is not your regular, just stop and wait. It's okay for you to give yourself extra time. And then start with something that's simple and accessible, like a YouTube video. That's the other thing that we talked about. Start with something that's simple and accessible. And also understand that you may have to shift your expectations of what a workout is, right? Mm-hmm. If you're used to like, I'm going to go hard and, I push it every day, but your workouts become daily walks with your baby in a stroller, then the important thing is that you start moving when you feel the urge to move.
Right.
So now Amina is a little over a year old. What does your fitness routine look like now?
So now we work out in the afternoon because usually after her first nap when she's the happiest and in a good mood. So we'll come over here to the studio and I use the weights, the dumbbells. I'm doing a challenge right now. A sister on Facebook actually started a 40 miles challenge. So we're all doing 40 miles in the month of August. Okay. So it could be walking or running or whatever. So I'll come and run in a treadmill. And again, like I said, she's older, so I'm not breastfeeding as often. So I can leave her with her aunt or with her grandma or grandpa and come and run. And I'm, a couple feet away from the house. Or sometimes I take her in a jogging stroller and we'll just run around the neighborhood. So now I work out, I'll say like 3 to 4 times a week. I'd like to get it back up to 5, but I'm not like in a rush. Like I'm just going with the flow right now. She's older now, so I do think I can kind of bump it up a little bit more. Mm-hmm. But I work out 3 to 4 times a week. I'm running more this month because I'm doing a challenge, but I'll run like 2 or 3 times as well. Mm-hmm. And yeah.
Okay. So if you have any questions, you can feel free to pop them inside of the chat. Do you have anything like in particular you want to leave people with? Like what are some of the...
Oh, I have some few tips. Yep. So one thing that really helps me, if you are a self-proclaimed lazy person like me, I am not like a naturally motivated, like, let's do this rah kind of person. Like I'm actually like, I could be really lazy. So in order to combat my like natural laziness, I have to write everything out and create a schedule and a plan. So even if you have to sit at the table for like 20 minutes and write out your whole week of workouts and like write down like the reps, write down the amount of weight you're going to use, like everything. Like that's why I started with a YouTube channel, because it was already programmed. But after I finished that challenge, I actually wrote out like everything for myself, like details, so that I knew when I wake up tomorrow, this is exactly what I'm going to do. This is the amount of reps I'm going to do. This is this, that. Mm-hmm. I'm going to run on this day. I'm going to do this. So I say, create a schedule. Don't just like be like, oh, I'm going to work out today. I don't know what I'm going to do, because then it's easier to be like, okay, I'm not going to do anything because I'm just tired. I don't want to do it. Mm-hmm. But when you have something in front of you, then it's easier to be like, okay, I'm just going to do it because I know it's written out.
Very true.
So creating a schedule, and then also, again, asking for help. If you married, don't be letting your husband off the hook. I'm Pharrell. That's his kid too. Don't be trying to do everything by yourself. Tell him, listen, if you got to like sit down and go over his work schedule and be like, all right, when you come home from work, I need 30 minutes for you to watch the baby for 30 minutes so I can go do X, Y, and Z or whatever. Maybe you really like being in the gym. I need an hour so I can go to the gym. I need 30 minutes. I could go in the garage and do this workout. I need, 20 minutes. I could go outside, jump rope, like whatever it is.
Yes.
That man better watch his kids. Okay.
Closed mouths don't
Closed
get fed.
mouths do not get fed.
Don't wait for him to offer.
Right. Because he's not going to do it because men are anyway. So yeah, get your husband involved, big daddy, whoever. Lean on your in-laws if you have a good relationship with them. Aunties, uncles, your own parents. Don't try to do everything by yourself. If you know it's really hard for you to work out with your kid there, because sometimes it is. Like sometimes Amina, like she'll like I have to cut my workout short because she's crying or she's upset, whatever. If it's really hard for you to work out with your kid, create a schedule with somebody who's willing to watch them. People love babies. And all you need is like 20, 30 minutes. You're like, I need 30 minutes twice a week or 3 times a week, however many times. So just ask, because people, you would be surprised how excited somebody would be to watch your kid. Like they'll be like, yay, of course, if you trust them. But like, yeah, get grandma involved, grandpa, your husband, whoever, to, watch the baby. And
Even, especially when they cute, before they start running around,
before they start talking back and stuff. I'm serious. Ask for help. Don't try to do it all by yourself. It'll be much easier for you. And then also, my last thing is to give yourself grace. If things are not snapping back or going back the way that you wanted it to, or you're not losing as much in the amount of time that you wanted to, that's okay. Like, you had a freaking baby. So you have kids, you have new responsibility. Your life is like nap times and snacks. So, give yourself grace. Say it's okay. Take your time doing things. It's good to have a goal, but don't push yourself so much that you're like, okay, I don't want to do this anymore because things are not happening the exact way that I wanted to. So yeah, that's my last little tidbit.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So if you want to follow Ayana, make fit dot happen on Instagram, and make sure that you like, share, comment, let us know how you bounce back after your baby or babies, and share some tips, because new moms are always looking for tips that's going to help them. Make sure you comment in the comment section so that people can come and scroll and get some few tips. All right. So we will talk to you tomorrow. Assalamu alaikum.